Tonight on our Northwestern News Report, Evanston fights law. Hundreds of residents gather to protest the Trump administration.
Plus, students demand answers after a Medill professor's classes are canceled just a day before the start of spring quarter.
And dancing the night away, literally, NUDM returns to Welsh Iron for its 51st year.
All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now. Good evening and welcome back for the first Northwestern News Report of the quarter. I'm Sabrina Carson.
And I'm Alicia Tang. Let's dive right into tonight's top stories. We begin tonight with major breaking news. The Trump administration has frozen $790 million in federal funding for Northwestern. That's according to two administration officials who spoke to the New York Times. The bombshell news comes amid civil rights investigations into both Northwestern and Cornell, which has lost $1 billion in funding, according to the report. NNN's Lance Wilhelm joins us in the studio right now to discuss the impact the changes might have. Lance, what do we need to know?
Yeah, that's right, Alicia. So the New York Times is reporting that Northwestern is experiencing a $790 million freeze in federal funding from the Trump administration. This amid a civil rights investigation that's been ongoing into Northwestern, looking into allegations of anti-Semitism into the university. Now, Northwestern is not the first school to experience a federal funding freeze like this. Obviously, today, Cornell has also been talked about. Their $1 billion of funding was frozen. Columbia was the first, you might remember from a few weeks back, with their $400 million of frozen funding. Harvard with a whopping $9 billion. Johns Hopkins with $800 million and Brown with $500 million. Now, some of those schools have faced some serious repercussions as a result of those funding changes. For example, Johns Hopkins cut hundreds of jobs as a result of that freeze. And Harvard, as well, is looking to borrow around $750 million to help with the loss in funding that they've experienced.
Lance, did we know that this was going to happen, and what can we expect going forward?
You know, Alicia, it's hard to say that it was totally unexpected given the scrutiny that Northwestern has been under from the federal government, starting back when President Schill testified on Capitol Hill last year. And, you know, there were some changes implemented earlier this year in anticipation of a potential change like this. Specifically, in February, there was a 10% funding reduction across the board at Northwestern that's outside of that's outside of personnel expenses. So clearly there was some anticipation here. And if you look at this is something that was brought up at the end of March. This is a graphic put up by the university talking about a reduction in reports of anti-Semitism on campus. So this is something that Northwestern was trying to put out there saying, hey, look, we've made changes. You don't need to cut our funding. Now, obviously, the Trump administration did not buy that. We do have a statement coming in from Northwestern spokesperson John Yates. He says that Northwestern was not officially informed of these federal funding changes. They were taken blindsided by that. And also, he talked about how the university has fully cooperated with investigations from both Congress and the Department of Education. He's also reiterated the life-changing research that Northwestern gives into with its research. And I want to take a moment to also talk about what else this might impact, right? So obviously, research is a major facet of what might be affected here at Northwestern, but think about what else is going around on campus right now. I mean, there's tons of construction projects going on, not to mention projects like Dillo Day, which receive hundreds of millions of dollars from the university every year. What will be affected, we don't know yet, but that's something we'll continue to look out for.
Lance, thank you for your reporting. How's the press there?
A group of former Northwestern football players is finalizing a settlement with the university over several lawsuits relating to hazing allegations on the football team. It comes nearly 2 years after former football coach Pat Fitzgerald's termination. Northwestern spokesperson John Yates said the settlement would fully resolve the student plaintiffs' claims against Northwestern. However, the settlement will not resolve Fitzgerald's wrongful termination claims against the university.
Students rallied at the Arch yesterday afternoon to protest against nationwide crackdowns on pro-Palestinian demonstrations. Demonstrators from NUSJP and Solar spoke out against what they say is the university's complicity with the federal government. The Monday rally took place amidst federal investigations of widespread anti-Semitic harassment on campuses, with Northwestern being one of the 60 colleges under scrutiny. At the rally, demonstrators handed out flyers outlining protest safety while also showing solidarity with dining hall workers. NNN has reached out for an official statement from both NUSJP and Solar NU, but has yet to hear back.
Evanston organized in another way this weekend. Across the country, people took to the street to take on the Trump administration on Saturday. In total, more than 1,000 protests were organized against government cuts. And then Jeremy Fredericks has more from Evanston's own.
Hundreds raised their voices in opposition to the Trump administration and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. DOGE is cutting tens of thousands of government jobs and estimates slashing $140 billion in federal spending.
There were so many, and they're all so important to maintaining the fundamental integrity and strength of our society.
Evanston resident Susan Gilkey's poster listed government programs that lost funding.
Absolutely terrible.
Saturday's protest was one of more than 1,000 hands-off protests nationwide, organized to oppose the president's cuts.
We're against what he's grabbing, which is unlimited power.
Protester Kim Grunwald came with a sign telling the president to keep his hands off.
Social Security, Medicare, cuts in them, reducing them.
There are hundreds of people here at the protest, which is one of many nationwide. Evanston police have closed off parts of the road over there to ensure the safety of the people.
I'm worried about the safety and the future of our democracy. I'm worried about people's opportunity to choose.
Protesters say they will continue to voice opposition to parts of the president's agenda they disagree with. Reporting in Evanston, Jeremy Fredericks, Northwestern News Network.
Thank you, Jeremy. We'll keep an eye out for future demonstrations in Evanston.
Classes canceled and tenure denied. That's the latest in the saga of controversial Medill professor Stephen Thrasher. Students enrolled in Thrasher's spring reading and reporting LGBTQ+ health class were informed just days before the start of the quarter that their class was canceled. The news coming after Thrasher took to social media in the weeks prior to announce that Medill had denied him tenure. In the news release, Thrasher says the decisions were made to target him based upon his involvement in the pro-Palestinian encampment last year. Euronumber, we reported back in January that Thrasher would be allowed to return to teach classes this spring following the conclusion of an investigation which found no grounds for his initial suspension. Northwestern then immediately launched a new investigation into his conduct at the encampment. In a statement, Northwestern officials confirmed that Thrasher would no longer be assigned to teach classes moving forward and defended the decision to deny him tenure, saying in part, quote, "The university has full confidence in the recommendation and decision-making process of our Medill faculty and dean, respectively. We'll continue to monitor Stephen Thrasher's situation as it develops."
Evanston's voters decided the fate of the mayor, city council, and more on the first of the month in the consolidated general election. Here with us now to break down the results is NNN's Victoria Ryan. Victoria, what were some of the biggest takeaways?
Thanks, Sabrina. In the mayor's race, Daniel Biss won re-election by almost 25 points. His opponent, Jeff Barini, walked away with 37% of the vote. And incumbents won in all but one ward where they were up for re-election. The current council members in the 3rd and 7th wards did not seek re-election. Sean Isles won his race in the 3rd and Perel Davis won hers in the 7th. In the 8th ward, challenger Matt Rogers defeated incumbent council member Devin Reed by almost 29 points. Now, this is significant because Rogers is the former chair of the Land Use Commission and has experience in zoning and urban planning. As the city looks to implement the Envision Evanston 2045 development plan, Rogers now holds a unique position as a city council member. Now, Perel Davis has become a figure in Evanston politics after her opposition to the Envision Evanston 2045 plan. Davis is a strong advocate for affordable housing and believes that the plan's zoning changes lack data to support an increase in affordable housing. The 7th ward, which Davis will now represent, includes the neighborhood surrounding Ryan Field. She has spoken out against the Ryan Field vote last year. Back to you, Sabrina.
Thanks, Victoria. We'll have more election updates for you later tonight.
Evanston held a dedication ceremony for the new Lorraine H. Morton City Hall to mark its official opening yesterday afternoon. In an effort to foster a more inclusive and accessible environment, the new City Hall is designed to create a safe, healthy, and secure space for staff. The goal is to provide a more streamlined approach to assessing services for all Evanston community members.
Coming up, how this weekend event is bolstering Evanston's creative art scene.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. Joining us now is NNN's Micah Sandy to talk about more Evanston election results. Micah, the District 65 school board race is still ongoing. Can you tell us a little bit about what's at stake here in this election?
Yes, so Evanston-Skokie School District 65, or D65, oversees public elementary and middle schools in Evanston and parts of Skokie. This board is responsible for decisions affecting K-8 education, so it plays a big role in shaping the direction of our school district's schools, and 4 board seats are up for grabs this race.
And who's currently leading in the D65 race?
As of right now, the leading 4 candidates in this lead are Patricia Anderson, Nicole Pinkard, and Maria Opdyke and Andrew Weimer, in that order. Voters are allowed to pick up 4 candidates on their ballot, and the race is still close, so things could still potentially shift.
And why don't we have final results yet?
So we're still waiting on the official numbers. The results we have so far are not definitive, which could be due to ballots still being counted or needing to be verified. Until everything is processed and certified, we don't know exactly who has won these seats just yet.
Thank you, Micah. We will continue to keep you updated about the results as we learn more.
Northwestern's Energy and Sustainability Club partnered with the University of Chicago to host a joint conference on energy and policy. NNN's Philip Lamb got a closer look at how these clubs are bridging learning and advocacy with action.
College students and industry executives are sitting side by side, indulging in food and food for thought at the Chicago Energy Conference last Saturday.
This is going to be a great opportunity.
The inaugural event drawing in students from as far as New York to meet with leaders in the energy and climate spaces.
When I got the email about this conference, it was kind of a no-brainer.
From engineering and policy to business and finance, students heard from leading voices in the energy sector.
We really wanted the day to be filled with different panels that catered to people from different backgrounds.
Some speakers raising concern about potential reversals of climate initiatives under the Trump administration.
There's a level of fear and destruction that's being wrought by the current administration on so many levels, not just energy, that I think folks at the state level are overwhelmed.
Panelists say tackling energy affordability and innovation should go hand in hand with green energy goals.
It's not a solely climate thing, we're building a new efficient economy thing.
Reducing the carbon footprint is a significant challenge, but Chicago stands as a successful outlier in the Midwest.
Chicago, though, is an exception to that rule. So Chicago is really far ahead of actually decarbonizing.
But the city has yet to harness the energy transition to underserved neighborhoods.
Renters and homeowners, especially in poorer communities around Chicago and the state, how do we bring them into that transition?
With over 200 student attendees this year, conference organizers say they look forward to scaling the event to include more nonprofits and startups. This could also mean Northwestern will host next year's panels, bringing the energy to Evanston. Reporting in Hyde Park, Philip Lamb, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Philip, for bringing the energy to this important story.
The North Shore Sewer Rehabilitation Project began Monday, causing lane closures right next to campus. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago hired Inliner Solutions for the project, which includes the construction of 3 new manholes along Sheridan Road. 3 access pits will be open for up to 2 weeks, with lane closures in effect through May 5th.
Connecting artists and art lovers, Evanston's Made's first Saturday art events give residents the opportunity to explore Evanston's creative community. NNN's Kelly Proctor stopped by at an event over the weekend where many came together for the opening of a new exhibit downtown.
On the first Saturday of every month, Evanston residents are invited to take a free self-guided tour of the town's art scene, with events spanning from Central Street down to the main Dempster Mile and beyond.
This Saturday, Evanston creatives promoted their work and connected with the public here at the Grove Gallery.
And it was just kind of a getaway in a way, and I really appreciate supporting the artists because there's so much talent, and it's great to see that right in our town and to get inspired.
For many of the artists at the reception, the event helped them showcase and display their work in a different way.
I mean, there's always been something particularly about, things like painting that are just kind of inherently, perceived as unapproachable. One thing's great about this Evanston night is it kind of makes it accessible in a kind of an everyday way.
Whether an experienced artist or someone just getting into the art scene, many participants agree the events are a good way to meet new people, find a community among local art enthusiasts, or just to maintain existing friendships.
I'm the curator. I run the gallery, and I've worked with Ken at the Evanston Art Center for, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, something like that.
And a lot of the artists in this show work at the Evanston Art Center or have worked there. So luckily, it's a unifying force.
In Evanston, Callie Proctor, Northwestern News Network.
For more info about Evanston's first Saturday art event to see upcoming event programming, visit evanstonmade.org and follow the link on their homepage.
Students flex their data science skills at the first on-campus event of its kind. Up next.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Welcome back. Alicia, can you believe it snowed yesterday?
I cannot. I'm coming after Phil the Groundhog. Luckily, we have NNN's chief meteorologist, Emmanuel Perez Martinez, here in the studio to tell us what we can expect this week. Emmanuel, please tell us there is a light at the end of this tunnel.
Thankfully, yes. Spring is in full swing ahead with no end in sight. Currently, we have a high pressure system to the southeast of us, allowing for that fresh breeze and clear skies. Currently, it is sunny and it is 37 degrees. For the rest of the evening into the night, we'll be in the upper 30s into the mid 30s. Taking a look at our local precipitation radar, we've been enjoying beautiful skies with no rain or clouds in sight. Although tomorrow, that will be a different story as the storm system will be moving through. Regionally, our temperatures remain around the same. In Evanston, it is 37 degrees. In Skokie, it is 39, 42 at O'Hare Airport, 39 degrees in downtown Chicago, and 42 degrees at Midway Airport. Our 5-day forecast is giving spring. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll start off with clouds with a high of 43, then that will transition into rain. Then on Thursday, we'll have a high of 42 with the clouds sticking with us. Then on Friday, we're going to have those sunny skies welcoming that weekend with a high of 45. Then catch this, our temperatures will only get higher for the weekend. On Saturday, we have a high of 50 degrees with sunny and cloudy skies. Then on Sunday, those cloudy skies remain with us with a high of 60 degrees.
Thanks, Emmanuel. I love to hear that it's giving spring. I'm looking forward to the warmer temperatures coming soon.
Welcome to your Northwestern Sports Report. Northwestern's men's basketball coach Chris Collins is staying on for at least 5 more years. Collins led the Wildcats to finish second place in the Big Ten Conference standings in 2023 and in third place in 2024. The first time this program earned back-to-back top 3 finishes in the league since 1960. Collins says he is really proud of what the program has built over the last 12 years and couldn't be more excited to continue the journey with the team. His new contract extends to 2030.
And University of South Florida point guard Jaden Reed is the first player Coach Collins has secured from the transfer portal. Reed announced his commitment to the Wildcats on social media, sharing the news Thursday afternoon via X. The new all-star point guard was named to the AAC All-Freshman team in 2023-24 after a standout season at USF, where he made 13 starts. Reed will have 2 years of eligibility remaining.
Northwestern's basketball star forward Nick Martinelli declared for the NBA draft on Wednesday. The Wildcat will maintain his remaining year of college eligibility to, quote, make the best decision for my future and my family. The draft comes after a career-best junior year. Martinelli led the Big Ten in scoring during the 2024-2025 season and was named to the All-Big Ten second team. The junior also set the single-season Northwestern record for points and field goals made.
Students had the opportunity to t-test their statistics and data science skills this weekend. NNN's Rachel Spears has this story.
The Data Jays, the Unicorns, the Stat Avengers, and 12 other teams competed against each other using a data set to solve a real-world problem at Northwestern's first ever Data Fest.
So that is the main part of the Data Fest, where student teams compete to analyze some data and develop a solution to a very broad level problem that any stakeholder may have.
Krishna teaches statistics and data science here at Northwestern. He brought the event to Northwestern to give students the opportunity to learn through immersion.
Undergraduate students don't know that the skills that they are learning in the classroom, the classroom content, how is it applicable?
The 2-day Data Fest was hosted by Northwestern's Department of Statistics and Data Science. It featured Dr. Sanchit Tiwari as the keynote speaker on Friday night and a panel of professionals and industry experts on Sunday.
Honestly, I love seeing undergrads go beyond classwork. I think that's when really the spark happens, when you find what you're passionate about.
For participants, this event gave them a taste of real-world data science experience.
And that's why I love this project so much, because it's an opportunity to see beyond a textbook, see beyond the syllabus.
Krishna said he hopes students get more out of this weekend than just data science experience. He also wants to build a stronger community within the department and beyond.
These students, which have a common interest of data, they come here and they meet each other, they collaborate, they work with each other, they compete with each other, and of course, it's very important that they should have fun.
Rachel Spears, Northwestern News Network.
Congratulations to GGAP and all of the student participants on their hard work this weekend. Up next, Northwestern dancers take on Welsh Ryan for its annual 15-hour fundraiser.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
NUDM 51, Northwestern's 51st annual dance marathon, took to Welsh Ryan Arena by storm Friday and Saturday. NNN's Micah Sandy shows us the charity event's final hours.
It was NUDM's second year at Welsh Ryan Arena, and dancers were excited to come back to see sunrise from the dance floor.
Both years I've done it, it's been 15 hours, and it's been really fun both years.
NUDM, which was 30 hours long until last year, had students dancing for up to 15 hours between Friday and Saturday to raise money for this year's beneficiaries. Chicago Hopes for Kids.
We provide academic support to students experiencing homelessness. It's because of you guys' support that we're able to continue our work.
And Evanston Community Foundation.
Thank you for your support. Dance on!
The event featured live student performances, and organizers taught a new dance move at the top of every hour.
I think it gives us something to look forward to, and it's been fun to put the pieces together.
Building to a full arena choreographed number for hour 15. To keep the energy going, students filled up on snacks, sports drinks, and even a breakfast buffet served after sunrise.
At some point I just decided to stick it out to the end.
The crowd paid tribute to an NUDM photographer and this year's MCs, who kept dancers on their feet throughout the event. And after hours of dedication, the big reveal.
15 hours of consecutive dancing, yet these dancers didn't show a sign of being tired, and the energy was alive and well throughout the night, all for a good cause. Reporting from the Welsh Ryan Arena, Micah Sandy, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Micah. If you missed this year's dance marathon and are hoping to show off your moves next year, check out NUDM's website, nudm.org. Well, that's all the time we have tonight on the Northwestern News Report. I'm Sabrina Carson.
And I'm Alicia Tang. Have a good evening.